Huh.
Okay, so what I've been doing, can you tell? Yeah, I think you can see that. I've been sawing up away from, what I did was I figured out about where the top thickness was at, and I decided just to saw the binding in half in that section. And so that's what's happening. And you should be able to see that. So anyway, I'm a little less than halfway on this, and so and my dog is whining. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. Lucy, Lucy, stop. Can't see it up there. So I'm just trying to stay above the score line where the ruler was, and I'm a little less than halfway in the binding, which may or may not be terribly critical. I'm riding up higher though, not intentionally. Let's see. Well, the broken part is coming apart here. Putting this ruler on here for now to protect this. I need to find something to pry with. My 6-inch steel rule. Put that light back in the hole. I don't think there's much you can see there. Yeah, so that X brace actually came out right about here. So yeah, I don't think I cut it, which is a good thing. It's actually quite a bit lower from what I can tell here. Let's see. Get something a little more rigid to pry with. Okay, it's separated all the way. So it's right at that X brace there, and it looks like I'm pretty much to it on this side as well. Close enough. Should be able to pop that off of there. I want to keep enough of this intact that I can actually measure it and make sure I know what thickness I need. Of course, this is intact right here, so it doesn't really make any difference. All right, I'm going to step off of here for a second, grab a chisel. Alright, I'm moving the brace up and down, and there we go. I was going to say the grain on that brace, come on, is going the same direction as the top, so I know that I'm not to the top of the brace yet. Something's still holding back here. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it. Just got some binding holding me together right there. And there we go. So I'm right on top of the kerf. The only place it looks like it's damaged is right here where it got bashed. And I think we're good. So I can clean this up, pull this binding off of here. I'm going to do all that tomorrow or the next day. My I'm about done. This is nice and clean though. I like what I'm seeing here. I didn't cut into the X brace at all, which I'm pretty happy about. Let's see, that is a really thick looking top. Yeah. Wow. All right, let's see what we get here. This route. Well, 160. I don't know how thick the finish is, but the well, let's see here. Now it's saying 150. All right, so that's the least I've gotten so far. 149. So we're going to call it 150. We'll get close to that. I had a piece of finish laying here on the bench that chipped off, and I hadn't thought about measuring it until just now, but now I don't see it. So I may have already knocked it loose. That's not it. Okay, I may be able to get a flake off of here and determine how thick this is. No, I'm not working in the camera. That looks loose. There we go. That's pretty much just film. Where is it? There we go. So eleven says 10 thousandths there. 10 thousandths thick. So if I take that off of the thickness I had at 150, I got 140 for the final thickness of this piece of wood I'm going to be putting in here. Alright, well that is it for this evening. Well, I always say that and then I keep talking. The growth rings on this particular piece of wood are tighter, and I don't think you can see it, but they're tighter on this end than this end. So, and there's a little step in the board where I was getting my sizing. So I'm going to, I have a dark edge here. If I can get it. That's not as easy to see in the camera. This is a dark edge right here. So I'll have to, plane back on that until I get to a straight grain line. And the wood isn't exactly the same. Obviously, it's not a piece of spruce for one thing. I should look at that. Actually, this looks darker than that. You know what? This is cedar. Yeah. Well, it is. It's cedar. Maybe that's why it's thicker. It's probably not as strong as spruce. I didn't think about it just looking at the color of it, but it makes sense. And then with the finish off of it, it's still pretty dark. So I feel better about using the pine in here. I will have to color it though. But with the tighter grain lines, and I do have out here, there are some little horizontal hash marks in this grain as well, and I also have that in this pine. The other pieces that I was trying to use initially were more exaggerated. That's why I split a new piece You can see this board has just quite a pronounced bit of the horizontal stripe on that. It's kind of cool looking, but it didn't match the top grain wise, so that's why I split that other billet out. So we'll get this straightened out, and that'll go in there and trace and get close. And once it's thicknessed correctly, I'm going to put a little cleat under here just to support this this splice, although the edge gluing would probably be just fine, but I'm going to cleat it anyway, and just to be extra sure. So that's it. Sorry, I think I've rambled here quite a bit, so let me shut you off again. Alright, quick update on the Washburn with the hole in the top. I took and got this blown up quite a bit, but I thickness sand this down to 140 thousandths. Trace the piece out here, and obviously cut it oversized. Well, maybe not so obviously. Cut it oversized, and I'm either going to use the part of the existing top and trim that up and put it inside as my cleat for this to, you know, join there, obviously underneath. And so I took the offcut from this guy here, and then it's obviously not a good fit there as far as that radius, so I worked it down some. Got the radius worked in here pretty well, and then the idea is to, I just cut this this piece of mahogany. You know, I was thinking that was mahogany. I wonder. Well, it's either mahogany or Spanish cedar. I don't think it's quite open grainy enough to be Spanish cedar. Anyway, cut this piece of mahogany out of here, and I'm going to take this guy and trace that radius on there, and then I'm going to bandsaw that radius out. And that radius is the same as the outside of the guitar, which technically won't be exactly the same as the inside of the guitar, but probably close enough. I'm going to end up notching, cut the radius, and then notch where the guitar is going to be, where this damage there is going to be cut out. I'm going to notch back here and then follow that radius. Maybe I'm making sense here. Notch back, follow the radius. So what's going to happen is I'm going to have a cut, a cut, a cut, and then this is going to follow the radius on the inside and the outside. I'm going to glue that in and then sand that to fit, and then I'm going to just do a really dark stain to match, and theoretically once that's all lacquered in, you won't see a huge difference unless you're really looking for the grain. Obviously, if you are looking at this thing on the light and you see you know, a butt joint here and here, you will notice it, but it's obviously a patch, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not replacing the whole side. Anyway, so that's just a quick update. That's kind of where I'm at, what I'm thinking. I will show you even, maybe I'll show you, go out some more. Well, I want you to see this. Even though you saw all the taping and everything that I did, we still got some chip out here on the finish. And I started trying to separate the remaining piece of binding here. I thought better of that. I think what I will do is, quite simply, once this is in and And well, this will go in after this patch is in, so this radius will be true. Then I'll just trim it and run a binding channel, route a binding channel in that, just like I would on any other guitar. And that in turn will actually remove the old binding. So, and take it in stages, step it in. So anyway, the next, well, I lost you. The next bit of work will be to fit this block in here and then notch it up underneath this brace, and then figure out, you know, how the notching and everything's going to work out for the side cuts. The reason, one of the main reasons I made this is because I have this feeling that if once I cut the damaged area out of this, it's just going to go boing, and I'll need a reference point to be able to pull it back into line. Although I'm not going all the way through the thing, so it's hard to say exactly how much problem I'll have with that. I've even considered just doing the radius, notching it, taking the kerfing out to where that fits in, bringing this up and gluing it in place in behind this, and then taking and cutting that out and maybe just putting a piece of veneer in. The problem is I don't have any veneer, but that would probably be the more expedient way to do this anyway. So I may have to make myself a piece of veneer since it's such a small little item. So that's kind of the update. I'm still muddling my way through this as I go. It's a bit of a different kind of repair, so it's not like just yanking out a bunch of frets and pounding some new frets in and going for it, you know. So it's interesting because it's different. So anyway, there you have it. Today's update. Wanted to take a second and show you this. This is something I've been using, you know, on and off, different things. I've showed it before, sanding between bodies and braces when you can't, you know, it's hard to get into a sound hole. In this case, I'm using it just to sand right along the edge here where the kerfing was. I took some shots. Hopefully they'll get in. I took some shots with my cell phone and from the inside, and I showed some of the methods I was using, but I forgot to pick this up, and I use this often in situations that are kind of hard to get to, like taking a piece of sandpaper on my finger. It's hard to get into, you know, in between the apex here of the brace on the side, and so with a stiff, this is a fingernail file, actually, emery board or something like that, and I picked a package of these up a while back at Walmart, and you can get right here. There's this X brace here. It's actually a big chunk of glue between the X brace and the side. There's got to be, it's at least 1/8 of an inch gap here from the factory, but it's enabling me to get up close. So I just wanted to throw this in the process and show you that it really helps to get in here with this sort of thing, because it's just solid and it's a little sandpaper stick. Okay, I got done dry run and fit and figured out how I'm going to go about clamping this thing up. While I had the block in there, I drew a line underneath, and I'm just gonna brush glue onto the side from here down to that line or close to that line. I don't want to have a lot of squeeze out under there, and so I'm just going to put some glue out on this spent piece of sandpaper and grab that brush I just had. Yeah, so I'm gonna put some here. If I put it all over the block, the problem I'm gonna have is when I'm getting it in here, the block hits something, and then I've got transfer glue down the side. Don't want to do that, so just gonna Just going to go in there and dab that in. Up on the top, I'm going to need a lot more than I put on there. Up on the top, I don't care about it squeezing out, but I really don't want it squeezing out on the bottom. Like I said, just because I don't want to have to get in there and try to wipe all that glue, squeeze that off. So that's why. Still, I'm going to put an ample amount of glue on there. Well, now I just painted it past my line, so. I will be getting in there after all. So I thought about sticking my phone back in there a while ago, and then I totally forgot about that. Now, so you're not getting that angle. Going to go ahead and glue in the notch here. And I'm also going to glue in the notch on the end of the block that's capturing the kerfing inside there. So there we are. Everything's glued up good. And this is where if I had glue on the block, I would now be smearing it all over the inside of the guitar. All right. Alright, I got a little tiny shim I'm putting on top of the brace so that when I clamp that, it pulls it up past there. Pushing it with my pinky as far as I can into the side so it pushes against that, the friction that's on that brace. I got a little Allen wrench here. Ta-da! I'm hooking the bottom of this brace with and pulling it up into position. I've got kerfing. My kerfing clothespins that I use for that. Now this one is too wide right here to get in there and do that. I'm tried a lot of different things, and what I really wanted to avoid was doing anything that would damage that edge where I've got this piece, gluing in. So I've definitely tried a lot of different things in here. I think what I'm going to do, what seemed to work out, is just using this clothespin upside down and jamming it in there so it's got pressure on the bottom side of the top and then the spring holding that. And I'm going to stick my hand inside there and push that block up. Got a little bit of a gap there, and I kept trying to work that out. Trying to force this block down that as much as possible. Okay. There we go. Got that to push up where I need it now. Having a hard time getting that to stay up where I want it. It's always different once you get glue on it. Grab another Allen wrench. Okay, I think we made it. All right. Okay. Yep, that's it. I'm going to let that set. See you tomorrow.